I've just spent 2 weeks exploring Asia and looking at how the way we travel shapes the people and places we visit. How we can either be helpful travellers or harmful ones. But I've never really thought about what's going on here in Australia. How's tourism changing things in our own backyard? How can we make sure that locals and visitors both enjoy this beautiful country? So, for a few days, I'm going to be a tourist in my own city and find out.
Hey, how you doing? Hi, I'm Jan. What are you out here to do?
We're doing a thing called the Tourist Ambassador Program that's run by Sydney City Council.
So you guys are here kind of giving a little bit of information as to what parts of the city are where. And
That's basically it.
Sydney, I think, wants to increase tourism to the city. Do you think that's something that the city can handle, an increase in tourists?
I think it can, as long as it creates the right infrastructure to do it.
What kind of value do you think a city like Sydney gets from tourism?
Obviously the financial way, every tourist that comes into town spends money, which helps the local businesses, which helps the whole economy of the country. There's also the value added by just being enriched by the experience of different cultures sort of coming together and being all in one place at the one time.
With such a warm and friendly welcoming party, perhaps it's no wonder that Sydney's tourism industry has been growing rapidly over the years. Last year, Australia saw 9.2 million visitors enter the country, and those numbers are set to rise. Tourism Australia is hoping to achieve a 40% increase in spend by 2020. A lot of that will happen in our major cities. So, how are tourists welcomed by locals? And where are they all going to stay? Worldwide, there are a lot of opinions about short-term holiday rentals.
Guests say they want a convenient and peaceful alternative to a standard hotel, but neighbours say they want them out.
Barcelona has become the latest city to crack down on unlicensed rentals.
When there's no legal framework, that's called an underground economy. It's a bad thing for tourism in our region.
The debate raging in neighbourhoods across the country.
Many people are going to have to regroup and possibly move.
To find out how popular the city really is and how that's affecting locals, I caught up with Jess Miller, a City of Sydney councillor who's been working on these issues for years.
So in terms of community connection, we know that short-term rentals are obviously quite big here in Sydney. They're big around the world as well. I think there are some concerns perhaps that they might be impacting those community connections.
I mean, it's something that we definitely hear from residents. Getting to know people who are using your lift or hanging out in the corridors is really important, and when there's, I suppose, a constant influx of new faces.
Yeah, or
you
just
know,
like not
it's a real
knowing
concern.
who's actually in the building. Yeah.
We don't want to have like a ghost resort town city because we value the social fabric. But at the same time, many communities really rely on the money that the tourism dollar brings.
Travel in the age of the share economy is not without its problems, and few know more about the issue than Sydney-based lawyer Tom Bacon.
So tell me what it is that you do exactly.
Well, I'm a lawyer that acts for the groups of owners of apartments in buildings. They have come to me seeking ways and means that we can come up with some regulations on how short-term lets are governed within their apartment buildings. This is not an Australian-centric focus at all. All over the world, every major city has grappled with and ultimately ended up regulating short-term stays. Paris, it's a maximum of 120 days a year. San Francisco, 90 days maximum. New York, it's got to be a 30-day minimum stay. Barcelona, 90 days a year.
What were some of the issues happening in those cities that led to the restrictions?
The exact same issues that we have here in Australia around amenity, around the fact that we have got great security concerns about people coming into buildings for a good time, not a long time, sometimes causing crime from the adult industry or gang-related or wishing to sell drugs from the units. That's really pushed the global concern, and those concerns are prevalent in Australia as well.
This has been a complex issue. We've been grappling with how to regulate this industry for a little over 2 years.
What would you like to see happen in terms of short-term rentals?
I think we should have a minimum day stay, say 7 days. Then we know that the type of tourist that's going to come for 7 days is going to be a more respectful tourist.
That's right. You can't keep someone up at night till 3 a.m. in the morning without running into them in the hallway if
That's
you're
right.
staying for a longer
time. Well, they'll
time.
be waiting for you as well. That's
right.
the case. We have to acknowledge that the short-term economy is here to stay, and it allows for tourists to come and experience local neighbourhoods away from the traditional accommodation service providers. But when you have a building that's filled with short stays, it makes it hard to have those social interactions.
You cannot really accuse somebody for trying to make a legal profit when an opportunity arises.
And everybody's got to make some money somehow, don't they? Like you've got to, like I'm 62. No one's going to employ me, so I had to go and make myself a job.
I'm torn. I agree with the building regulators and the people who say, well, we want to limit short-term stays in the building, but I also like money.
I think the whole industry just need to pull up their socks just a little bit more and realise that these are people's homes and they need to be respectful of that. You might be here for a couple of days, but we live here.
Yeah, for sure.
While short-term rentals might not seem like a major issue for places like Sydney just yet, the steady increase in tourism and a lack of regulation means the problems we're seeing in New York and Barcelona could be just around the corner. And I've seen over the past 2 weeks, the solution seems to lie with us, the traveller, and whether we can respect the communities that we share a space with, and the space itself. Maybe if we chose to be a little more mindful in our travels, some places wouldn't be put under quite as much pressure, and then our cities become for everyone again, not just some. But the relationship between travellers and locals can be complicated, just like at Hymes Beach, a coastal destination that's struggling with an overload of visitors. So I headed south to check out what's been happening and to experience the whitest sand in the world.
You actually can't open your eyes.
Is it the whitest sand in the world?
It's really white. Like, it's so white I can't open my eyes white. First time here at Hymes Beach?
Yeah.
How did you find out about it?
One of my friends told me about it. She told me there's a beach that has the whitest sand.
Did you know that apparently it has the whitest sand in the world?
I agree.
Have you seen all the other sand in the world?
I've seen a lot.
In the top 10, I didn't know it was is it the number one?
For its white sand, the white sand, aqua water.
And what do you think? Is she right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is.
We'll explore that.
After seeing firsthand how successful the whitest sand line of promotion has been, I wanted to speak to the man who supposedly started the campaign, Hymes Beach Cafe owner Chris Allison.
Has the place changed much? Are you seeing more tourists come over here
tourist numbers are just over the moon for the last 4 to 5 years.
I'm curious to know where the whitest sand in the world comes from.
I don't know.
Oh, you just inherited it.
Yeah,
You found it.
And we were told that there was a reference in the Guinness Book of Records to the whitest sand in the world.
So just in terms of sort of impact of tourism, has it been good? Has it been bad? Where do you sit on it?
Great for us. The more visitors, the busier we are. We know that on the days when it jam-packed with traffic, people are queued up 50 metres down the road to get a cup of coffee or a bucket of chips. Those days are the days when we make most money.
Do you think that some of the other beaches around here are maybe overlooked because this beach has the reputation of the whitest sand in the world?
Yes.
Although business is booming at Hymes Beach, there are some that aren't so keen on its newfound popularity. In fact, many of the local residents have banded together to attempt to control what they see as a major threat to the community and to the environment.
Well, on the worst days, about 4,000 cars coming in a day, and you can imagine what that does to a small village like this.
Can you tell us how many spots there are in this car park?
So there's 13 car spots here, 1 disability spot.
And how much do you think the demand would be on a day like this, say, which is not even really a
Yeah,
busy
so
day?
today there's probably going to be 1,500 to 2,000 cars probably come into the village.
I mean, I think it's a great shame that when they did the campaign for the whitest sand, if they had said the whitest sand in Jervis Bay, there are 16 amazing beaches. So that would have been a wonderful thing because it would have shared the load. So we just have to make sure that good decisions are made. These are really fragile environments, the dunes.
Yeah.
Those dunes are getting broken down, and littering is a really significant issue. And it's probably 20 residents regularly go out every day during the season with bags and to pick up the litter.
Oh, right, there's a group of residents
Absolutely.
that actually do a clean-up here.
Absolutely.
This is really typical.
I think I might need my bag as well.
So what is that exactly? Like coffee and...
That's coffee. This is tissues.
What's the worst thing that you guys have had to pick up?
Turkey nappies, and this is soiled toilet paper.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, I think the worst was
No.
Oh, actually, Julian's had a used tampon.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
That's actually gross.
Knickers.
And the rubbish that lines the sand dunes after a busy day at Hymes Beach isn't the only problem. Local environmentalist Dr. Martin Fortescue says that the very things that make Hymes Beach so beautiful might disappear if things don't change.
You manage that national park over there for 35 years.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. That peninsula there is Bootary National Park. Hardly visited it at all 20 years ago.
What sort of environmental impacts does that have?
The main thing for me is what makes this place really special is its water quality.
So you think the water quality is disintegrating here in this area?
I do, and I think that's one of the easiest things to do something about. We're just seeing this craze, the internet, all sorts of things. Everybody knows about the place to come, but it's just the last couple of years where it's really overstripping its resources. So you're seeing, the loss of this coastal vegetation, paths going everywhere, people camping in the bush, inappropriate fire regime, all of those things that can accumulate to impact on water quality. If people come here, stay on the tracks, don't take the shortcut through the bush because you can see what happens. Don't light fires because if fire gets going in these dunes, are going a huge amount of damage. And take your rubbish home, or preferably don't buy everything in plastic in the first place. It'd be nice.
Yeah, that's right.
While Hymes Beach is no doubt beautiful, its fame and popularity were starting to seem quite harmful, not to mention odd. So I met with Amanda Findlay, the mayor of the local council, to hear her ideas on how this pressure could be reduced, while still giving visitors the beach experience they were after.
There are so many other beaches around this area that are equally as beautiful, and they're nowhere near as busy as Hymes. So what's the solution?
The solution has been managing people. Go to one of the other white sand beaches and say, okay, look, you can have just a good experience just down the road. Chinaman's, Seaman's, all of those beaches that are right in this location, fantastic. But the whole of Jervis Bay is the same water system, the same sand system, and they're all equally spectacular.
The same sand.
I think it's really up to the traveller to just be more adventurous and don't just follow the flow.
Get off the beaten track.
Get off the beaten track. Hop down the road, look for the side track and spend some time really exploring and adventuring instead of just going to the place that somebody else has told you about.
Yeah.
Make your own memories and find one of our other hidden treasures.
I decided to take Amanda up on her challenge and look for some of the other treasures along the coastline. And after travelling no more than 10 minutes, I found one.
How nice is this? There's hardly anyone here. We're about a 10-minute drive from Hymes Beach. It's the exact same sand. I mean, we know it is. I almost don't want to tell people about this beach. Don't come here.
I think we can all do with a bit more of the road less travelled. If only for a better selfie. As more and more travellers visit this amazing country, we're going to have to work out how we can all enjoy this beautiful land while making sure that we protect it for the generations to come, which is exactly what's happening in Bali and Nepal too. And we can learn from the experiences here and make sure that we don't make the same mistakes. And by being aware of that, we're sure to have better adventures ourselves. Because when we really get out there and really explore, not only are we being more helpful travellers, but we're having adventures that are truly unique and life-changing. The adventures that we've always wanted to have.